Welcome everyone, today we have a new build guide for Diablo 4. In this video, we'll go through a one-shot druid. As you guys can see over here, I'm trying to make a hybrid druid with one-shotting with the paralyze and also with minions. Now coming over to the biggest highlight of this build. So over here, what I want to show you guys is we're actually going with Poison Creeper, and this actually makes the druid super good at killing elites and also leveling up. Look at this damage. This Poison Creeper damage is over 3,400, close to 3,500, and this is before any of the major scaling. And this also increases damage by another 30%. So how does this work is, we have level 6 on Poison Creeper. Notice that if I unperk this one, all of a sudden Poison Creeper only does 1,600, 1,700 damage. But if you perk this particular passive, you double your damage. So this is a hidden benefit to deal 200% more damage ever since the buff. So if you guys recall, the Blizzard developers have buffed the Druid companions, and one of the hidden buff is a Poison Creeper, it's upgrade. So if I click this upgrade, all of a sudden I'm doing like 3,000 plus damage. And this particular buff is massive, because this turns 3 seconds into 6 second duration for the poison damage, which doubles the damage. So the Druid companions will be dealing a lot of multipliers of damage, and the Druid has a very high burst potential. So in this video, I'll show you guys how to build the Druid. And this is my final build for the Server Slam, and I have been spending a lot of time trying to build this Druid. This Druid is very durable, and it does a lot of AoE damage. So notice over here, we did half of the elite's HP in one shot. And follow up, we can deal a lot of slam damage and a lot of damage over time. Now, because this build is very bursty in nature, we do have one weakness. It is our resource gain. I'm still trying to get a few legendaries that can give me more resource, but unfortunately I couldn't get a resource. You can see that we can one-shot most of the monsters, even elites. But when it comes to the boss, you can see that the first few bars of the boss, we can deal a lot of damage. But unfortunately, I couldn't get additional legendaries that provides me with resource gain. So we can deal, 20%, 30% in one shot, and after that we kind of run out of damage. So this build is still very good for farming elites, but not very much so against bosses. I'll have the whole replay for you guys to see the build. So coming over to a character over here, what you can see is, notice my attack is stacking up. So when I stand still, I gain 30% attack, and this hits me to over 500 damage with the Server Slam, which is really high. Now let's start off with the skill tree first, and I'll explain why I went with the skill trees by looking at the legendaries. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the Druid Companion legendaries, and I couldn't get Paralyze legendaries, so I decided to combine Paralyze and also Druid Companions for more damage. So what I want to show you guys over here is, we'll be going with Windshare, and we went with one upgrade for the vulnerability. Now I could go with one more upgrade for additional spirit, and this would be much better if I was not that greedy. Over here, I went with 5 points into Paralyze and also one upgrade to provide us with Overpower. Every 12 seconds, you deal massive damage. Now, because Paralyze actually use a lot of spirit, what you want to do is, you want to slam every 12 seconds, and this allows you to do tremendous damage when you're healthy. Now, in order to make ourselves a little durable and also have unstoppable, I decided to go with Earthen Bulwark and also with upgrades to provide us with increased Fortify. Now, this will come into play with the legendaries that provide us with 2 levels of Earth spell when we're fortified. Coming over to the biggest highlight of this build. So over here, what I want to show you guys is, we're actually going with Poison Creeper, and this actually makes the druid super good at killing elites and also leveling up. We have level 6 on Poison Creeper. Notice that if I unperk this one, all of a sudden Poison Creeper only does 1,600, 1,700 damage. But if you perk this particular passive, you double your damage. So this is a hidden benefit to deal 200% more damage ever since the buff. Now over here, I'll also be running my Wolves and also my Raven, which also deals over 1,000 damage and over 1,000 damage over here when I activate the spells. Now, because I had an amulet that provided me with the Druid Companions, I'll show you guys over here, this is why I didn't perk into them. So if I didn't have this amulet, I'll probably have to perk into them, but you do have an amulet, this is really good. Now, it is also optional to go with 1 point into poison enemies as slowed, because you would enjoy increased damage against slow enemies. Now, one of the reasons I didn't go for those perks is, if we come over to my legendaries. So yes, I did craft a whole set of legendaries. And just to show you guys, I have found over 18 legendaries on this account alone, and using our legendary farming method. If you're still playing the Server Slam, make sure you check the links above and also check the links below to see my farming method with the legendaries. What I did was, I was actively resetting events and also gambling my legendaries, and we're also getting a lot of loots by killing elites. Now, going through the two-hand weapon, I will be gaining 32% bonus damage when I have a barrier. One of the ways to have a barrier is with my Earthen Bulwark, so I have a massive barrier over here. And the other way of getting a barrier is when we fight elites. Now the boss monsters also considered as elites, and this can provide us with a barrier, so we deal another 32% bonus damage. Now as for my amulet, I decided to go with increased 30% damage when we have higher resource. This allows us to one-shot monsters when we have about 100 spirit, but the downside of this is when you have lower spirit, you deal a little less damage. Now as for the other offensive codex, I decided to go with increased damage by another 30% if you stand still. So notice my damage is about 410, but if I stand still with this one, after 3 seconds, we're over 500 damage. And over here, we'll be going with turning Pulverize into Earth spell, and this does more damage. And finally, for the offensive spell, we also increase core damage for every companion that is active. So we have 24% increased Pulverize damage to deal one-shot damage. Now if you have a look at the boots, I also gained 2+ skill ranks to my Earth spells, which Pulverize is now Earth spell, so this allows us to gain more damage with Pulverize. And finally, Earth spells will also slow enemies, and over here, we also gain additional Fortify when we actually shapeshift. So this kind of works pretty well because we gain Fortify, and when we're fortified, Earth spells gain rank. And when we have shield, when we have barriers, we also gain additional damage because of the passives. Now if you guys want to see all the crafting of the gears, I'll have the replays provided to you guys so you can see all the crafting. I decided to go with higher attack speed, more critical chance, and also more damage with poison, slow, and also close damage. Now briefly going through the skill rotations. It is quite straightforward. You want to keep your spirit high, and during my test rounds I wasn't doing this properly, so I really should be keeping my spirit high. And one thing you want to notice is every 12 seconds you do a massive smash, so you kind of want to use your highest resource when you have the Pulverize every 12 seconds. And you also want to keep yourself healthy, so notice that while I'm healthy with a shield, we deal tremendous damage. Now when engaging a pack of monsters, you really want to have yourself with a shield, because you will always be doing 32% more damage, right? So what I do is, I have my shield activated when I face elites, and I try to get into the middle of them. And when I cast my Vein Creeper, everyone is immobilized and does tremendous damage, because it does over 3000 damage, right? So this is really important to be standing still as well. I wasn't really standing still, because I was just testing around, I wasn't standing still. But if I stand still for 3 seconds, then I cast my spells, I deal 30% more damage. Now the build itself for the Druid is quite straightforward. I do think the buffs to the companions are really good, so if we're playing the Druid, we definitely want to perk into companions. And knowing how Poison Creeper does half of the elite's HP, it's really good. The downside of this build, of course, is that if you're out of rotations of cooldowns, and if you're out of spirit, you're really in trouble. So over here, I'll show you guys over here. I thought that was very durable, but I don't have any spirit, I don't have any cooldowns. And this is when the elites kind of went ham on me. I was like, oh no. Actually, didn't go that bad. Okay, that slam did really bad. So notice that when you don't have cooldowns, you are a little short on damage. Now finally, coming over to replay. In order to show you guys all my gears and all the crafting, you can see it over here. And I have it provided to you guys. And over here, you get to see my first round of the dungeon. You can see that I'm testing the build out, so I'm not the perfect one to be showcasing how strong the build is. And over here, I want to show you guys how strong the build is against the boss. Unfortunately, we don't do as much damage compared to the rogue. But still pretty fun to play the Druid though. You'll be shift-shifting, you're summoning companions, and you deal the super smash with one shot.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more spirit. I'm not ready yet. I need more spirit. I must wait a moment. I need more spirit. I must wait a moment.
Now, in case you guys didn't know, we have a new website for Honkai Star Rail. So over here, you can see the active codes, my guides, also my written notes, and also the latest official news, and also banners that is coming, and also that is available in the game. We'll be also updating for the live events and everything that's related to Honkai Star Rail. So make sure you click the links below the video to come over to our website for more guides, tips, and also free codes on Honkai Star Rail.